Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at the job changes for patch 7.1 in Final Fantasy XIV. Excuse me if it takes me a little bit to get my bearings. I just woke up, I was sleeping, waiting for patch. That's what I do. I get a full night's sleep before the patch actually comes out, and then I stay up the entire day. But I figured I'd wake up and do the patch note stuff and then go back to sleep. We'll see how that plan actually goes. 7.1 job changes are going to be very, very important to look at. So I'm very curious to see what they did. Pictomancer has clearly been, I guess, yeah, it's kind of been the root of the problem. Every other job has been being constantly compared to Pictomancer, even outside of the role. It's just been like a game-defining job that's balance has created all sorts of problems. So job changes are more important in this patch than they've ever been. Do I think there's going to be that much fundamental change? No, they usually mention stuff beforehand if they're going to do something that drastic. I know a lot of people are hoping for like Dark Knight changes, for example, and a handful of other jobs as well. I'm not that optimistic, but I guess there's nothing to do but to just click into it. Oh, and I'll check out the PvP changes. I'm not like super big in the PvP like I was at the very beginning of Endwalker when I did Season 1, but might as well take a look at that too. All right, actions and traits have been adjusted. So one thing I always forget to do for this is actually to read the job guide descriptions. I'm going to do that after I read everything here. We'll go over there afterwards and check it out. I already see cover mentioned. So Paladin, cover range has been extended. That's not the problem, but okay, at least that's there. Maybe there'll be some secret cover tech coming up. Intervene being 66 is really nice. I still think all the gap closers should be way earlier level, but thank goodness. I mean, people who do UCOB and UWU, I guess that's going to be a nice little thing for them. It's just better to have the gap closer earlier. And Hallowed Ground, the effects of this action will now be applied earlier. That's actually a substantial change because it's one of the most frustrating things for tanks is the amount of time that actually needs. It's funny, people might have to get used to when it applies for doing those like last second ones, but it should be easier to do the last second ones now anyway. Warrior Home Gang, same effect. Chaotic Cyclone, the hit detection will trigger earlier. That means the AoE healing will go off earlier, so that's really nice. Ooh, there's actually a pretty decent list for Dark. Dark Mind now also reduces physical damage by 10%. All right, I guess I have to eat my words. The fact that they're actually adding physical damage resist. Skipping ahead, I see Dark Missionary. Yeah, Dark Missionary also has 5% physical damage taken on. All right, there you go. That was a pretty fundamental problem with Dark Knight. So you know what? I'll eat my words. They did actually do some stuff, and there's a bunch of other stuff here. Living Dead applies earlier. Abyssal Drain's healing bumped up a lot. And Carven Spit also has healing on it now too. That's still not, compared to the other jobs, that's still not that substantial. But it's interesting to see them finally giving Dark Knight some self-healing. So I like that. That's really good, especially as someone who's been soloing on Dark Knight, funnily enough, recently, for fights where the healing doesn't matter, but TBN is really valuable. That gives Dark Knight a lot more solo potential because TBN already allows you to do a lot. Still a lot of things you can't do without the amount of healing Paladin or Warrior has for solo, but not really that relevant of a factor. But that's really nice. Blood Spiller, small potency increase, and the entire Delirium combo getting an increase. So really solid updates. Now, I don't think, again, they fundamentally address people's issues with Dark Knight, but they do address some of them. I still think people would prefer the job to be altered in terms of its overall gameplay patterns, but definitely a major upgrade for people who are looking to play the job and at the very least don't mind TBN. TBN is still really a major crux of people's criticisms, but all of this stuff is really good. Gunbreaker, carrying potency, Super Bolide applied earlier. Super Bolide no longer 1 HP, now 50%. That's a lot less trolly. That's pretty good, actually. I honestly, Super Bolide, people had gotten used to playing around the 1 HP, but that should, I don't know, I feel like that's going to be good. Heart of Light also 5% physical damage. I can hear Ivy being very confused at me doing this right now. Hypervelocity having its potency reduced. Never mind, I looked at the one below it. That's probably why. Double down, only 1 cartridge. Ivy, come on up. Come on up, be a part of the recording. There you go. Yeah, she was sleeping soundly next to me, and I got up to record this, and she's like, oh, okay. Double down being 1 cartridge is massive, actually. Now, I'm obviously not a Gunbreaker main. I'm not going to get into it. I've dabbled with it just enough to feel the 2 cartridge, double down being like, eh. Obviously, damage variance on double down, still going from no crit to direct hit crit is Kind of, I think that's a fundamental design issue. I think needs to be handled as we approach 8.0 and not necessarily now. But it only being one cartridge is a major like ease of use case, especially with encounters with a lot of downtime. So yeah, that's big ups from me. Dragoon, trait Lance Mastery now increased potency from 150. Oh, good. Piercing Talon now has listen, that tells me they expect you to throw a lot more Piercing Talons. In fact, enhanced Piercing Talon has been added, which increases potency to 350. So yeah, it's just making Piercing Talon a lot stronger. Elusive Jump gives enhanced Piercing Talon. So they're kind of making it like the Reaper combo. I guess in a sense it makes sense. They're both maiming jobs where you'll get the enhanced Piercing Talon after the Elusive Jump. I've seen a lot more Piercing Talons in recent times with the smaller hitboxes if, you know, people are playing safe. So not a bad thing. I think that's fine. Stacks of Nastron Ready granted has been reduced from 3 to 1 for Jir Skogul. So it's no longer the triple spam of Nastron. Mirage Dive is 380, Nastron is 600 and goes up to 720 with the Lance Mastery 3 trait. Star Diver went up to 720 and then 820 with the trait. And then Starcross range has been extended to 20 yalms? That's crazy. Yeah, so it looks like they're trying to reduce the busyness. I actually thought the busyness of the triple Nastron was actually a lot of fun. This is way less fun to me. This is very much screams modern design for 14. And while I think the ease of use has definitely gone up, the accessibility's gone up, I personally find that less fun. The good news is the Nastron being 720 potency means that, you know, actually, no, I have another issue with this, is that it's another major potency, single time use, once per whatever, that has a big direct hit crit damage variance. I actually have a problem with that now that I think about it more in depth. And by increasing these other potencies, you run into that problem more and more. So again, it's the issue just keeps compounding with where damage variance is a scary thing. And especially with an ultimate coming up after top, I just thinking about it makes me not super excited. Ninja throwing dagger, more potency now in case you need to throw the daggers. They already have ranged attacks with the ninjutsu if they play properly, but like, yeah, no, that's fine. Dream Within a Dream getting its potency bumped. Dokumori has been changed from single target to a cone, dealing damage to 300 to the first target and 25% for all remaining. That's interesting. That's, I mean, just a little bit of AoE bump. I ain't gonna complain about that. Tenchi Jin, players can now move. Well, I mean, you asked for it for like literally half a decade, so there it is. Tenchi Jin, you can now move while doing it. So there you go. And Tenri Jindo hit detection will trigger earlier. Okay, some big ease of use things for Ninja here. Samurai, Gyoten recast time has been reduced to 5 seconds, so you can do your little whoof occasionally. I don't know what that is. Gyofu potency increased, Zanshin potency increased, and Tendo Keishi Setsugeka character motions, visual effects have been changed. Okay, that's fine. Reaper, Circle of Sacrifice effect now also grants stacks of Immortal Sacrifice when you or a party member successfully land an ability. So now it's not just on a GCD, it is on any GCD or OGCD. It just makes the success use of Arcane Circle like even easier. I didn't think it was that big of a deal before, but it does at least, it absolutely creates an easier scenario for it. Void Reaping, after learning Communio, the hotbar icon will no longer be illuminated when remaining. Oh yeah, that's good. I thought this is literally just new player bait, this entire thing, to try to accidentally convince people to use the wrong ability. So I think that's actually just a good thing for new players. And Gallows hit detection will trigger earlier. Machinist, Clean Shot getting 20 more potency, Blazing Shot 20 more potency, Flamethrower getting 20 more potency per tick, and also having a bigger range, which is nice. I haven't done the math on Flamethrower recently, so I don't know how that changes the use case of it. But it in theory should be more usable after this. It's still Flamethrower, so I'm not going to cheer that on that much, but still. And Double Check and Checkmate each going up 10. Pretty good overall. The number of double checks and checkmates you do is pretty substantial. And just adding a little bit more potency onto Blazing Shot and Heated Clean Shot. It's interesting that they've chosen, because this is Blazing Shots, obviously, this is all big, like, hypercharge. Well, not Flamethrower, but Blazing Shot, Double Check, Checkmate, really big hypercharge things. So your hypercharge windows should be a decent bit stronger. So the number of hypercharge, but I'm thinking about the number of hypercharge windows you do. I mean, this obviously helps during buffs substantially, because you're going to want to hit the you're going to want to hit a double during that time. Well, you can't even really hit a double during that time anymore. You're really just going to be getting the buff for the single window, and any of the outside buff ones are going to be a little bit better as well. I haven't done the math on Machinist in quite some time, so I'm definitely out of date because I've just been playing Bard for the most part this expansion. But it's another one of those, like, I'm not going to complain about this, but does it fundamentally address the concerns people have with the job? Not really. So it's not going to get, no more than like a golf clap from me. Dancer, the Fan Dance goes up to 180 now. Curing Waltz, slightly bigger range. I like that. Fan Dance 3, also slightly higher potency. And Starfall Dance, action change settings can now be enabled to switch Starfall Dance with Devilment. All right, cool. I like that. Black Mage, Flare having its cast time reduced. Okay, that's nice, I suppose. The 2 stacks of ley lines, you can't activate them both. You can't activate 2 ley lines at once, but, I don't actually know what the overall effect of this is. Because on the surface, it looks to me like an anti-drift tool, because Leyline still has a 2-minute cooldown. You'll start the fight with a second Leyline, and then it's just going to be about where you want to place the second Leyline, or if you want to prevent drifting of the original Leyline. Like, it helps reduce the drifting capabilities of it, and it also makes it so you can more easily adjust it around encounters. So the second one that you get is effectively just a freebie that you're going to throw somewhere, but the ability to hold over a single charge is really the valuable thing. But I mean, the extra ley lines throughout the fight is also just a good thing. For movement's sake, you can really do a lot. And if there's downtime mechanics, you effectively are getting closer back to the second ley line. So it really is something that makes sense a lot with the 2-minute meta to have this for ley lines without fundamentally like it doesn't address some of the other issues. Enhanced Enochian actually going down to 32% is wild to me, but Despair being instant in the second ley lines makes a lot of sense. I really thought Black Mage was going to get more than this. And I don't think this really matches their statements about what they were aiming for with job balance, but should be something that is okay. But it's not going to change the Thunder use case concern. It's not going to address the Flare Star concerns that the job has. It's only going to slightly improve the playability of current Black Mage. Summoner, Crimson Cyclone. The additional effect grants Crimson Cyclone ready has been added. The effect ends upon the execution of certain summoner actions, and Crimson Strike no longer a combo action, instead requires the effect of Crimson Strike ready. Interesting, so it's not a combo action. So what does that ultimately accomplish? God, I haven't played Summoner like at all. I know what Crimson Cyclone and Crimson Strike are, but what is the reason for this? The effect ends. So obviously the effect ends upon execution of certain summoner actions. That's activating Titan Garuda or Bahamut or any of the 1-minute buff windows. But why is it just making it so that you don't have to do it back to back if you don't want to? Like, I guess that's the only real thing it would accomplish, is by making it not a combo action. You eliminate the need to do them both back to back with your GCDs in case it's not a good time to do the second one. I don't know if that was really a problem with the job, but I don't know. Doesn't mean it wasn't. So all the summons, Ifrit, Titan Garuda, all got more potency, and Sunflare got more potency. Right, some caster buffs. Those should be decent. This is pretty. An extra 150 per minute on that is pretty good, and then every Sunflare for your 2-minute buffs is also going to be a little bit better, but I don't know. It's nothing major for me. Verflare, Verholy, Scorch, and Resolution all got potency on Red Mage. Just potency changes across the board. Certainly not bad, especially considering that's where the majority of their power is. It's in the melee combo, but I'm not gonna go crazy about those. Picto. Now it looks like you just start with your motifs. Basically, at the start of an instance. A pawn will now appear on your canvas upon entering instance duties or in restarting an encounter. Yeah, this is just making it so you can't forget to draw your motifs during downtime, which is a nice usability increase. Something I figured they would probably do at some point also. The ground effect will no longer appear when battle effects are set to show limited. Funny, because Dragoon actually had a problem, actually has a problem with that with, maybe it'll be in the bug fixes, but in, God, what's the name of the ability? The one the dragon pops out of the ground. Yeah, whatever that one is called, that one's also not supposed to be showing. It has the same exact issue as what's it called does here with Picto as Starry Muse. But I think the bug got rejected. Maybe they already knew about it, so instead of taking the bug, they rejected it, and it'll be in the bug fixes, but we'll have to see. Healer, Asuna, cast time is made instant. That's really nice, actually. White Mage, Holy, Asylum, Glare 3, Holy 3, Fleet, just yeah, potency and cast time. So Holy having a cast time reduction is pretty massive. It's only 1.5 seconds now, which is going to improve the usability and mobility of it a lot. Asylum, visual effects indicating the area effect have been adjusted, probably to make it more clear. If I had to guess, they added an outline to the actual outer edge of it so you can see it more easily. But other than that, I don't think it would have changed that much. Glare 3, potency increase. Holy 3, also getting its cast time reduced. Makes sense. Misery getting another 40 potency. And Divine Caress being 30 yalms. Again, these are nice, but they don't fundamentally change any of the concerns people may have had with White Mage, and definitely none of the concerns I have with it, but, you know, nice little change. Scholar, MP costs down on a lot of stuff. Eloquium, Succor, Consultation, Manifestation, and Accession, all having their MP costs reduced. There's basically all their shields plus when they're seraphed. And Seraphic Veil having its potency increased, and Embrace having its potency increased. You know, effectively the same ability, but Seraphic Veil coming with the shield is nice. So, not bad. Just, whatever. Usability updates to Scholar. Astro, area of effect of the gravity spells at any level has been increased. So, just a usability thing, especially in dungeons. Sage, a bunch of MP cost reductions on Prognosis, Eucrasian Diagnosis, Eucrasian Prognosis, and Eucrasian Prognosis 2. Area of effect of Philosophia has been increased to 30 alms. That's a very nice usability thing. And then Dosis 3, Toxicon, and Pneuma all had some potency increases as well. So that, you know, just a little bit of, again, usability. And that's it. Yeah, so the Dark Knight changes were really the last major change that surprised me. I would say the Dragoon, the Dragoon changes surprised me as well, because I don't think this is a good idea. It just, again, it keeps leaning into the greater damage. I'd rather have 300 potency abilities than 600 or 720 potency ability. That's then made up with the obviously they're making up for that, or trying to. I haven't done the math. With the extra 180 on Mirage Dive, there's the extra, 200, or I guess technically just the extra 100 on Star Diver. And then Starcross also getting, like, they're trying to make up for it in other places. But I don't know, just when you keep adding the bigger numbers, you keep creating a bigger damage variance problem. And I don't think it is a solution to anything. So before I go to the PvP changes, I'm going to quickly check over to the job guide and see what their reasoning is. Tank abilities that prevent incapacitation, such as Hallowed Ground and Living Dead, have been adjusted across all jobs, allowing their status to be applied more quickly. This will ensure players can more readily make use of these abilities when taking heavy damage. In other words, when you want to skip mechanics. Paladin, Intervene has been lowered to align it better with the movement abilities of other tank jobs. Sure, I think they could all get a lower ability, and Cover has improved ease of use, if you say so. The damage, oh yeah, that's right. I got so focused on the 5% physical damage on Dark Missionary, I didn't even mention that it had its level lowered to 66 as well. To improve survivability when taking damage from large groups, the cure potency of Abyssal Drain has been increased. Moreover, the additional effect restores on HP has been added to its single target counterpart, Carbon Spit. I still don't think they need to be tied together, and I don't think Abyssal Drain needs to be a 1-minute cooldown. I can understand making it like a 15-second cooldown or something like that, or a 20-second cooldown. I could get not making it like a GCD and spammable so that it has some counterpart. So it's not effectively just, oh, Dark Knight has an AoE heal GCD at all times that also deals damage. I could get that, but it just doesn't need to be a minute. To address disparities in physical defense, Dark Mind and Dark Missionary have the reduced physical damage. Gunbreaker, double down, improve ease of use for the cartridge usage. Because of this cost reduction, allows for greater use of burst strike and hyper velocity. They reduce the potency. Yeah, that's why. It's because of the double down that they reduce the potency of hyper velocity. Gunbreaker will still see an overall increase in their DPS. To improve Gunbreaker survivability, which is crazy, by the way. To improve Gunbreaker survivability, cure potency of Aurora, and then the disparities, Heart of Light now has the physical damage. So, Dragoon, to help prevent DPS loss when it's necessary to keep distance, we've increased the potency of Piercing Talon. Hilarious. And then also the combo with Elusive Jump. To reduce the number of actions executed during burst phases, no longer gain multiple stacks of Nastron Ready. Because of the change greatly affects Dragoon DPS, we made further adjustments to other actions to maintain balance amongst melee DPS jobs. Yeah, I still don't think that's a good idea. I still think you're better off having more. I get that it's really busy, but I still think it's better health-wise for the job than to have another large damage only usable during certain times, only usable once a minute abilities. Ninja, Tenchi Jin, you know, ease of use, obviously. Dokomori being the cone is also going to be nice. To help prevent DPS loss when it's necessary to keep distance, increase the damage of throwing daggers. Only meant to supplement the use of ninjutsu, which allows ninjas to deal high damage at range. Yeah, so they understood the assignment on that one. To help improve Black Mage's mobility, really? They needed more mobility? They've gotten so much, and again, it is not one of the key problems the job is having right now. We've also made ley lines a charged action, making it easier to use outside of burst damage phases. I don't think that's really what that change accomplishes, but it does. I mean, I did say it gives you one extra one to use somewhere at your leisure, but that the charge system is actually better for the overall usability within the 2 minute meta. No gain was slightly reduced. The above changes should result in an overall DPS increase. I don't know. So 1% damage versus effectively having one extra ley lines in a fight. I'm not going to pretend I know the math on that, but I don't know that the instant cast, I mean, maybe the instant cast despair that is factored in and that actually makes a bigger difference than I think, but I don't know. Summoner, now, so yeah, the combo requirement has been removed. Inferno, yeah, have been increased to oh, wait a minute. They're incorrectly. Oh, so I guess they were doing less potency. They were, oh, damn. Well, I'm glad that's fixed. As soon as cast time has been made instant, Holy having its cast time reduced. Scholar, MP cost of area of effect healing actions has been reduced to help improve MP management, and then they also gave them some extra potency on Embrace and Seraphic Veil. Determined that a potency of 180 would not disrupt game balance and can have therefore increased their potency to match their descriptions. Oh, so their descriptions said 180 and they weren't doing. Oh, so it's the same problem. I remember people saying stuff like this months ago, but only barely. And then gravity having its range increased. Okay. It is what it is. This is about with like the capacity. There's a little more than I expected, and for some jobs a little less than I expected. But that's still about on pace for what I was thinking they were gonna do. Then we get into the PvP changes. Holy moly, max HP changes galore. Timing, we know the hit detection change for PvP was changing. Hold on, I need to sip on some water. Parched. Okay. Maximum HP. Oh, wow. They're like very different. Increase for the tanks to various amounts, with Warrior having the most. Monk, Dragoon, Ninja, Samurai, and Reaper all increasing as well, with Monk and Samurai being the most at 63,000. Viper also at 60,000, so not as squishy as Ninja and Viper, both not as squishy. But I mean, everything's going up, so it's not like that matters. Bard going up to 55,500, Machinist to 57, Dancer to 58.5, which makes sense given what their abilities are, but still. Black Mage at 54,000, man, that's brutal. Astro and the Sage at the same amounts too. And then some increases, you know, Summoner 57. Okay, so there's a bunch of max HP increases, which should be pretty telling to some of the changes we're probably about to see. These are the changes they mentioned on... well, actually, no, we mentioned those last time. That's here. We don't need to do all this. We need the PvP job changes. Come on. Where is it? There we go. Following adjustments have been made to job damage output, damage taken, and limit gauge fill rates. Reduced damage dealt. Negative 20%. That's funny to just read that it does just minus 20%. Yeah, so Paladin's damage took a hit. Looks like all the tanks took... Okay, not all of them. Gunbreaker actually doesn't have as much. So Paladin just going to do 20% less damage. No longer at 0. It does negative 20%. Damage dealt for Dark Knight, which was already at negative 15%, is now at negative 20%. And this is for frontline, mind you. I guess I should really point that out. I got so wrapped up in reading that this is frontline only. Dark Knight, let's see. Damage dealt, minus 20%. So another 5% hit. Damage taken has increased by 10%. And the limit gauge fill rate is now 45 seconds longer. Woof. I think the pull is really what people wanted to see changed, but I guess Dark Knight's still going to be yanking. Gunbreaker reduced from -5 to -10. Dragoon from -10 to -20, and the limit gauge fill rate to 45. Monk limit gauge fill rate plus 15. Reaper plus 15. Bard damage taken being reduced. Interesting. Same with Machinist, Black Mage, also having their damage taken reduced, so they'll take even less damage. Wait a minute. Reduced from -25 to negative... Wait. I just realized. Hold on. Damage... Oh, no. Yeah, because this is damage taken. Yeah. So this is actually a buff. They're taking even less damage. They're taking 30% less damage instead of 25. So this is a buff across the board. Damage dealt increase. These are such weird things to read for frontline, man, because you're reading like going from -15 to -10, which obviously is a buff. It's an increase, but like it's still weird. Looks like Pictomancer's damage dealt is taking a hit in PvP, and its damage taken is also being reduced. White Mage, reduced. The Scholar. Oh, Scholar going to do 10% less damage. There's still a lot of dots, man. Yeah, and then a few of the other changes. Not that big of a deal. And then also making some individual adjustments to Rival Wings, where it actually looks like, so damage taken is being increased in Rival Wings for the tanks, going to, minus 20% across the board from minus 30%, so they'll be a little less tanky. Looks like that's just the case across the melees in general. I think the tanks, the actual melees, Bard, looks like everyone's just going to be taking a little bit more damage. They're probably trying to increase the pace of Rival Wings matches, because that was the impression that I got from the actual Rival Wings changes, and that is definitely the vibe I'm getting from this as well. That they're trying to increase the pace of those. That can't be everything. There's got to be like so here's the thing: the PvP job guide almost certainly has like a list of more changes. I think it even said that right. Where is it? PvP. Yeah, for more details in regards to changes, actions, and traits. So I guess that's where we're going. PV. Oh my god, am I gonna have to scroll through every PvP action? Okay, updated. Oh, I don't want to do this. Why couldn't they just line up all the changes so I could read it? I don't want to have to read. Well, I mean, okay, maybe at the bottom they'll have the for further changes. Please refer to the. All right. Well, I guess never mind then. Yeah, I'm not gonna go through all of that. That's gonna drive me insane if I try to do that. If I try to go through everything in here, is there really no? Let me just. All right. Well, I closed the window by accident, so I guess I don't know how I did that, but maybe I'm still just too tired. I just like just closed the entire window by accident. Yeah, where was the crystalline conflict changes? That's so weird. Here, let me just... I have it back now. Just grab it again. There we go. Idiot. Listen, these are the kind of things we leave in when you just do the recordings outright. Let's try that again. Crystalline conflict. Yeah, I thought there were going to be some more... Because they said they added and took away abilities too, didn't they? Where is that? That's gotta be somewhere. No, because this isn't PvP. It's gotta be, I guess, all on the special site, because oh Jesus, look at all the items for the what is that category? That wasn't there before. What the heck is this? Following items now have 2 die channels. Oh wow, that's a lot. Oh hey, the Mandervillius stuff has 2 die channels. Nice. Wonder what the second die channel is. Yeah, I just thought there was going to be some crystalline conflict changes listed. Some of the general PvP things. I don't want to go through the entire job guide and do all that, especially as someone who doesn't really PvP a whole lot anymore. There was one other thing I wanted to check other than the job changes. Just a quick look over this. Players receive experience points from enemies in the instance quest battle. Is there anything of importance here? Apex arrow and the stats effective blast arrow ready was not granted if Apex arrow missed while the soul voice gauge is 80 or higher. That's toxic. If it missed. Oh, man. Iaijutsu, Tsubame Geishu was not ready if Iaijutsu failed to deal damage to a target. Okay. Yeah. I get what they mean by it. Playing as Summoner Scholar, the effects of the job traits did not apply to the pet actions. I think people complained about that months ago, which is what some of their addresses were in the earlier thing. Let's see. Gear did not display properly. Elysian gown resulted in partial clothing appearing black, and regardless of the dye color used. PvP actions, Relentless Rush action continued to deal damage even when the Gunbreaker is stunned or transformed by Miracle of Nature. Doesn't look like there was anything too major here. Just looking through the list real quick. I mean, there are actually some pretty important things here, but there are things that we kind of already touched upon. Some desynthesis issues. Portrait could be saved while the player character is outside the portrait's boundaries after using the emote Advent of Light. Yeah, I know people have always been abusing that kind of stuff. Free trial accounts are able to send a Moogle letter one time under certain conditions. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's probably a good thing for them to fix. Issue with wearing the gold saucer option, the main menu would not unlock after using a scenario skip item. Ooh, that's the option will automatically be unlocked for those who've already used the scenario skip item. Good, good. And yeah, doesn't look like there's anything too major here in the issues. Now, however, one important thing is known issues, because sometimes there's things we have to be ready for. Uncouth customers is not included among quests available to replay. This will be addressed in a future update. Challenging a dungeon add in 7.1 while using a 4K resolution, when the client's frame rate may temporarily decrease after the second boss uses certain actions. That's an important one. A guard does not negate launch or knockback effects while reducing damage that normally cannot be reduced in the following stages. Oh, does not. Okay, that's a big problem. The issue is scheduled to be addressed 7.11. In the interim, we ask players to refrain from strategically exploiting the issue to inflict liftoff or knockback. Damn. Interesting. That's a big problem, actually, this one right here. Guard and Cloud9, Clockwork, Castletown, and Red Sands not working properly is that's really bad. PvP action Macrocosmos, the icon does not immediately switch to Microcosmos. That could also be a potential problem. Using the White Mage PvP action Miracle of Nature, flying text for the action is duplicated, causing it to appear the spell is casted twice. That is a purely visual one. Furnishings due to be implemented in 7.15 are erroneously available to preview. That's not that big a deal. You could preview them early. Wherein the amount of materials obtained from sectors newly added in 7.1 is lower than intended. Honestly, your subaquatic voyages give too much as it is. You should probably do this on purpose, to be completely honest. Status effects are not displayed on the spearfishing menu. Wired DualSense controller, when disconnecting and reconnecting the USB cable, will cause the mouse cursor to disappear on Windows only. Resolved by disconnecting and reconnecting the cable again. An issue where maximizing the game window in windowed mode, where subsequently selecting a different screen resolution, then reverting to window mode and maximizing the game restores the screen resolution. What? I mean, it's a Mac only issue, so like very few people will have that, but what a description of a bug. An issue where in maximizing the game window in windowed mode, we're in subsequently selecting a different screen resolution, then reverting to window mode and maximizing the game window restores the screen. That's such a wildly specific thing. Oh, wait, here we go. There's another one for Mac. An issue when maximizing the game window in windowed mode and subsequently selecting full screen via the system configure, then reverting to window mode and maximize the game window. There's also some other text issues, yeah. I don't know if there's anything different. I mean, we already saw the double die channel thing was added in. Normally, there's a couple of other small things that are added in throughout the full patch notes, but I don't want to look for them. So the job change is really the big thing. I have a feeling these job changes are going to warrant a great deal of discussion, and not in the best of ways. Some things, yeah, but like it's, again, fundamentally, we know that 8.0 is where they want to make a lot of major changes to the entirety of how our jobs work. So I'm not too surprised to see them probably taking a more direct approach, but this just doesn't line up with what I feel like they were saying. It made it seem like there were going to be a lot more changes across the board that were more potency driven. Like that was, I guess, the thing. I was expecting some more potency driven changes and not what we saw here. Where there's actually a fair amount of functional changes that don't really address core issues. Because if you're going to make fundamental changes to things, like you really want to address those core issues, like Double Down, I think is one of them. I think all the tank invulns activating earlier are, and I think the physical damage. I think the tanks probably had the most important changes, especially Dark Knight, which again doesn't address the core issue of TBN and its reliability, but still, and Black Mage too. Like if you're gonna do some of these things to Black Mage, I feel like the other things like Flare Star's usability are and the Thunder usability are more important than like making Flare 3 seconds, you know. So I wonder how much of this is just like we're just gonna do this now. And, you know, we know as we approach 8.0, there's so many more important things that would, but I don't think that's the right approach. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion about some of this stuff, and some of it will feel nice. The 1.5 seconds on Holy will feel good. The lower MP costs on Scholar will feel good, but still, We're mostly status quo, and a few things are going to improve slightly, except again, where I think Dragoon is not actually an improvement, not in my opinion, at least. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap for this video. I'm going to get this rendered and then go back to sleep for a couple of hours, fingers crossed. And then I'll be up early in case the servers are up early, because you never know. Servers might be up early today. It's not a major, there's no major like race content here, so the servers might be up a little early. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned. I'll have all sorts of stuff coming out today for patch 7.1. I am also going to be on the Dragon Quest III Square Enix stream, just going to be checking the game out. I'm someone who has a little bit of experience with Dragon Quest, but Dragon Quest III is not one of the games that I have played, so I'm very excited for that to come out later this week. So excited to be on the Square Enix stream to check that out. That'll be at 11 a.m. Pacific on both Square Enix's YouTube and Twitch channel, and it will have giveaways of copies of the game and a collector's edition as well. So anyway, to the render machine, I will see all of you for patch, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Until then, I bid you adieu. Bye-bye.